Namaste, beautiful yogis. We live in beautiful times, and a lot of I'll talk about the times in this video, so you're gonna get an idea of what my programs right now and upcoming programs are gonna work with, what kind of energy, what the focus will be. I want to be current. I want to work with this profound, abundant, amazing, unprecedented energy that we have access to, and what the workshop will be. But this video in itself will just talk about the times and the opportunities and how we can navigate and choose between things that look seemingly similar, or they mirror each other, but they're completely different. So all of this will be the meditations, contemplations, yoga exercises, fluid, vinyasa, embodiment, aligning the energies, the meridians. That will be part of the workshop. You still have one day to sign up. I still have 10 more spots from what I would like it to be at, because I keep them relatively small. And that's gonna be also a part, all these contemplations in a little less collective work way will be part of the classes. Maybe in the future I will include a live video every month or every few weeks within the membership, so we can sit together and really discuss things. But for now, workshops are that place where we come together and we do some meditations together, because that's a powerful way to really work with the current energies. We are entering some powerful energies right now on Earth, and it's really important to stay really aware, to brace yourself, to rest, to nurture yourself, to heal yourself, and to keep moving forward and choosing consciously from the heart. And so I'll explain all of this in the video of that is to follow, so stay tuned. Today we're doing a short connection talk video. I think that since I found a little corner on the floor in my house to do these sit down videos, maybe I need to put some decor behind me, so you're not looking at my closet door and the other door. If you have any ideas what can go in a corner, let me know. Something uplifting. It's a little barren, I think. But anyways, this is called We Live in Beautiful Times. And because indeed we as souls have come here for this time right now on Earth. And when I say beautiful times, don't mistake that with easy times or with perfect times. On the contrary, these are challenging times with a lot of opportunity. And the opportunity is, as I like to call it, grand, but at the same time we have stages of opportunities that are personal, on a personal level, on the individual level, and on collective level. So there is a lot of variability within those opportunities. What is happening is we are at a fork in the road for humanity, something that doesn't happen often. Something of the order of every 12,000 years we enter into the photonic belt of the, our galaxy, but also and we get closer to the central sun, but also every 26,000 years is the Kali Yuga cycle. So times like this don't come around really often. I actually have a feeling that within different cycles, we're entering different cycles, such as Saturn conjunct Uranus in an air sign. That's one cycle. That is a smaller cycle. But then within that, we have larger and larger cycles that are unique, and we're entering them for the first time in a really long time as souls. So the opportunity is absolutely grand for us to have a paradigm shift. A paradigm shift is something that is hard to intellectualize, because we're talking stepping out of the previous constructs of the mind. So as long as we try to understand it through the 3D, the physical mind, the ego mind, the personality matrix, we're gonna bring that imprint on our on us trying to visualize that change. So we have to step out of ourselves where through the heart, and also integrate through where through the heart. And as we use this as our vortex towards the cosmic consciousness, and integrating the cosmic consciousness as our soul integrating out and bringing more of the soul in, that's our a form of a portal energy. We have different portals, but that is a big one now. Also from the heart, we also activate the third eye, so we begin to see beyond the previous senses that we've been using for a while. We begin to open up to new senses, new ways of communication, and also running the meridian to the top of the head, where we have a more direct connection with higher intelligence, with our higher self, our expanded self, with our complete soul and the oversoul, and so forth. So the times are absolutely phenomenal, and one thing we have to be really careful about is everything has its double. It's a twin cousin or twin brother or whatever you want to call it. So everything kind of, there is an imitation and the truth, and the imitation is a real timeline too. It's a hijacking of the possibility expansion timeline, or the possibility. But it looks very similar. You can think about any imitation right now. There is many. There is a lot of things get hijacked. I'll talk about this in the workshop, because a lot of those things are not for YouTube anymore. The truth is often not allowed on. It just, you can't access it on normal platforms. At this point, you have to reach out of your typical way of searching for things. But think about any hijacking of a timeline. So for example, there is a gender thing, gender push, and one is that we as souls can operate either in a two genders matrix, or in a being androgynous. But either way, we shouldn't be too attached to it, and that should happen from a spiritual impulse to just be more on a soul level, to operate from a higher consciousness level. No, the other is a lot of, physical, chemical therapy and surgery, and also confusion, so that there is confusion within the soul that scrambles the soul, fragments the soul, further traumatizes the soul, less integration happens, less embodiment. They both can look similar on certain level, not energetically. Energetically, they don't look anything like each other, but on surface level, that thing that will become bring more of the soul in can be hijacked by the thing that you can just cheat nature and modify nature. And because there is that impulse in humanity, maybe too, it seems like there is an impulse, at least in half of humanity, more than half maybe, to move past the gender matrix. And some can keep it, because that's also beautiful. There is beauty in the polarity of the feminine and masculine too. So either choice is the right choice, as long as it's the choice through the heart, and the natural choice of moving with the energy of the cosmos and the universe and the soul need, rather than the chemical, the technologic way of logic, the technologic. That's one. The other is the environment. We have the natural need for us to really do things from a different consciousness, to really respect nature, to really clean up, to really become sustainable, grow our own food, all of that. Move away from factory farming, because factory farming really I'm trying to choose my words carefully. Factory farming on a consciousness level, we allowed it to happen here on Earth, and it's basically the enslavement, of animals, where they are not allowed to use the earth that belongs to them. So the earth is no longer they're not given access to something that they're part of. They are part of the earth, they're part of the natural environment here, as we are. They're chipped, they're injected, they're hormone shifted, they're raped for babies, their children taken, etc. You know, confined in small spaces. So no respect, no personal responsibility. So that's not to say that everybody can be vegan or needs to be vegan. That is to say that we allowed something that should have never been allowed. It's different from hunting, or it's different from ranchers that have some form of relationship, connection, and respect for their animals, or the way the natives did it with respect. If you are to murder an animal, you have that respect, because yeah, things get recycled, and I understand that. So we allowed that. That is something that we can move away from. But how do we move away from? With lab meats and such, or do we move into harmony with nature? We some people choose to still eat meat and do hunting and have a ranch or whatever, and slowly transition into a sustainable form of existence. And we all have indoor grow walls, and we have a garden and whatever. We use natural resources. As the environment changes, we adapt, and we become more sustainable, because as maybe our own environment will change as we enter a different part of the galaxy, of the solar system, or of the central sun system. Different part of the universe. So those are the forks on the road, and we have a grand opportunity to really exit the previous matrix. So when we look down at the matrix, we have a bird's eye view, and because it's starting to flicker, now we can see ourselves as a part of a, imagine you're in a dream, and your avatar, or your consciousness, your soul, is wrapped somewhere else in its own physical, non-physical, or light, or whatever body. It's still as long as it exists as a separate entity, it's still a form of a physicality there, right? Light even is something, it's not nothing. There is polarity within light. So the soul can see itself dreaming here, the way we see ourselves, or the way we experience dreams here, as this personality, as this ego. We can dream, and sometimes it's difficult, or most of the time it's difficult, to control the dream, or to even be aware that you're dreaming. Same thing, we can now see the matrix and see that we have a certain capacity to shift our awareness within the dream and become the creators within that experience. It's like a full immersion experience. And those are all examples. I could have given a different example. I always say this because I read it really a long time ago, and I don't remember which philosopher it was. I forget which philosopher it was. It wasn't even one of the ones I like. But he says, when you wake up in the morning and you had a dream that you were a butterfly, how do you know that you're not a butterfly that's having a dream, being a human now? Or that you're a human that just had a dream that you're a butterfly? So it gets a little trippy when you start to look at things from a different perspective. And up until now, there was possibilities to shift our consciousness and our awareness, but not paradigm shifting opportunities, just because the collective wasn't ready. On a personal level, few can overcome that energy here. And now, because the whole energy is changing for all of us, the opportunity is grand for us to rebuild society in a new way, consciously, making the right choice in the coming years. Some of the choices are behind us, and a lot of them are going to be still ahead of us. So we have to be conscious, we have to be in the heart, and moving through that energy, with that energy. That's why I feel that my yoga has shifted through the years, and workshops too. They're becoming less physical and more about embodiment, which is again a physicality. But I've always been teaching, be in the body, feel the body, body awareness, because all of this is literally clearing a lot of the trauma in the soul, and physical trauma, or soul trauma physical stored in the physical, and then bringing more of the soul in, integrating more, less fragmentation, because the more we clear the shadow, the more we integrate the shadow, the more we are able to face it, the more we're able to navigate through the collective and human shadow and integrate that and be the healer for humanity. If you can heal yourself, you first of all heal, bring that frequency into the whole, but you're also able to continuously continue healing individuals and also the collective. It doesn't matter how you choose to work, everybody is gonna have. And that brings me to the next thing. So as we choose consciously the new and we envision it, we have the capacity. We now realize that we're the creators of reality, and the reason why we're creating the same reality over and over again is our belief systems. That's a big one. Through belief systems, we create perception, expectation of perception, so then we perceive what we're expecting and we manifest that. Because what you see is what you create. And if you're seeing something and you perceive it one way, dependent on your belief system, which never comes from within, in our old world, in our old earth, belief system always come from outside, then we create the same thing. So once we become aware of it, we can break that cycle, right? It's not easy. It's as easy as controlling your dreams, right? You still have to work towards it, and the opportunity was not here for a really long time in humanity on a collective level. Now it is here. We're entering a new cycle. In that new cycle, we're never going to see the old earth again, the old societies, the old cities, the old ways. They're going to have to be deconstructed. And that is going to be very scary for a lot of people. Some people will have excitement about the new, which will take a really long time to build. And of course, some are too tired to do it, so tired. And some are excited to do it and rushing to come here to do it, because everybody wants the consciousness expansion. And once we expand it, we take that with us through lives or through existences. If you don't believe, whatever you believe in, that's the whole point, is once you shift your consciousness, that stays with you regardless of what shape you take. It's beyond the physical, beyond the personality matrix. So if you have a personality flaw here, like for example, you're short-tempered, or you're too anal, for example. You still, beyond your personality matrix, you expand your consciousness. When you move on, you're not going to come back necessarily with the same qualities, because maybe you've integrated them, you work through them, you have new stuff you need to work towards through. But that level of consciousness stays with you. So now you view reality from a way wider perspective, wider lens. You see more of reality. You're able to see more of the layers, not just universe and multiverse, but omniverse. So omniverse is all the layers. And we consciously have to be very careful. This is all the themes of the workshop. We consciously have to be very aware of our choices right now. The choices are important. The envisioning, the conscious envisioning, having the capacity to really be present with each choice you make, with each vision you have, with each perception you have, and also the bravery. It takes bravery, curiosity, and surrender to surrender your old belief system, to examine it through the heart, so that you see which ones are coming from you and which ones are just implanted into you through lives, and this life, during in vitro, and all of that. Because a lot of the things that we've accepted as ours, they don't belong to us. And now it's becoming more than obvious that we have to restructure our own belief system, our society, the way we educate our children, the way we view health, the way we view the health of the environment. And the environment is the other hijacking that's happening. You have to almost mirroring realities that want to take direction and hold, and they're pulling both people, dividing people into, because one is the organic matrix, healing the earth, healing the soul, healing the self, and starting to view the environment with a different lens, different perspective, using resources in a different way, and also thinking with abundance. And the other is scarcity. You're not allowed to use the earth It does not belong to you. It belongs to a few select, and they tell you how the environment is and about the warming and all that stuff. But it's the hijack timeline, or it's mirroring what really is happening. That's how feminism is also. Feminism was that need for the feminine to not be oppressed and suppressed, and then it turned into a very cliquey, big corporate movement. And of course, did they hijack it? Of course they did. They turned it into equalness, sameness, I'm looking for a word here, sameness, and also conformity. So there isn't that element of understanding everyone as their unique self, in partnering and bringing your own unique energy into the timeline. Same with the environment. It's troubling to some degree to see that it is working. The mirroring timeline is working. It's pulling enough people, but also it's amazing to see how many people are awakening from the dream we've been living in. So yeah, we have to be conscious. We're going to work on all these visualizations. We're going to work on consciously choosing our future and our futures as different incarnations or futures, and being finding a new way to serve humanity. This is one of the days we're gonna have to work on that, intuit our new ways to be in the world. Everybody will have to shift and change. And if it's through the heart, we're choosing the abundant timeline where abundance flows. Just money becomes less of a created issue, a scarcity system, and it becomes a different system. It's a whole nother thing. It's a little bit ahead of us. And the other is more scarcity, right? Even the use of the earth is not allowed. It doesn't belong to us, even though we're animals of the earth. So we have to be very careful where information comes from. We have to use discernment, even with spiritual information. A lot of the spiritual circles got hijacked on that other timeline. And we have to stay in the heart, because we are creating our future, and we're having such insane, massive, unprecedented opportunity to really awaken from a layer of perception to a whole nother layer of perceiving reality, from there manifesting, being conscious creators of our own reality, and how we heal, how we live our lives, how we exude our energy, how we receive energy. And serving is going to be a big one, because as you awaken, you are going to serve and pull others and and assist and heal others that are just newly awakening. And we're going to envision that. Now, for everybody, it will be different. It will be an evolving journey. It has to come from within. No one can really guide you. Someone can hold space. That's what the workshop is, and the classes that I do. They hold space, but you are the guide. You are your own healer. Everything comes from within, from the inside out, and you exude whatever you are able to tap in, generate, and manifest into the whole. So that is the general outline. Pretty big. I'm gonna do visualizations and meditations with the classes. The classes will do the first day. I'm starting to think I will surprise you, but I'm thinking Kundalini, a lot of like just releasing the energy, opening the channels. All right, I think that is good enough intro into it, and I'll see you there. I'm excited. We're creating something beautiful, and let's get excited about it, because we have it in us to get through these times and really manifest a beautiful reality and live long, healthy, prosperous, abundant lives, fulfilling our soul purpose. Namaste.